These aren't my stories, but ones that my little brother told me. He's a geoscience grad student at the moment. He's been doing fieldwork in Wyoming for about 4 years now. Usually, in summer, he's seen most of the wildlife there is to see up there, shy of cougars who apparently avoid their camps. He also seen some weird shit that he couldn't explain. I'm fuzzy on technical details since we're that close, and I've never paid much attention to his studies, so most of the fieldwork stuff he told me is where things get a bit confused. I'll try not to go into any of the jargony stuff he told me since I'm sure I'd get it wrong beyond the basics. Anyway, the stories. Story 1, Day 0. Roughly 2-week undergrad externship program in Wyoming. Spans over spring break plus a week. Dave shows up with 2 classmates from his program, Kelly and Junior. Meets the other externs, total of 20 people in his class session. Going to be doing survey work and checking up on geothermal activity or some such. Taking core samples, mapping terrain and formations, Doppler readings, all that jazz. Students camping in tents, but there's a trailer to store equipment. A few outbuildings for cooking and showers, and a fence around the compound. Also 2 latrines and a semi-permanent shelter with concrete floor and tables. Rustic, but safe enough. Dave and Junior sharing a really swaggy big tent that got ditched a previous internship by an international student. Common event, apparently, since they can't transport them home easily. Kelly plants her single near theirs in a rough circle of tents. Orientation time. Class divided up in 5 groups of 4 and assigned territory and tasks. Dave, Junior, and Kelly all in different groups. First night it's pretty quiet, but cold as balls, and there's a light dusting of fresh snow the next morning. Day 1 through 3. Everyone's up before first light to get ready for fieldwork. Groups split up and head off. Each group has a supervisor and are taken to a specific survey area in a truck by said supervisor. First few days of work goes as planned, no surprises. A bit more snowfall during the first half of the week, but no problem. Day 4. On the 4th morning, while they're eating breakfast, Kelly asks if the boys came and tapped on her tent the night before. Dave and Junior say no, they were wiped and went straight to sleep. Kelly says she woke up with someone tapping on her tent just by her head and whispering her name. By the time she got up and unzipped the flap, they were gone. They decided it must have been one of her group members trying to ask her about the previous day's data, or the next day's work. Who knows? She decides to pursue it later, when they go out to work. Day continues again as normal. Nighttime again. Dave and Junior are shooting the shit before going to sleep. Hear someone tapping their tent at their feet before they go to sleep. Is anyone there? Hello? From outside the tent, sounds like Kelly. They turn on the lamp, open up the flap, but nobody's there. Figure she went back to her tent. Light is on inside. Dave goes and asks her what she wanted. No response. No one inside. Fresh snow again. Footprints leading away from her tent towards the latrines. Dave assumes she just wanted someone to walk over there with her, since it's dark as fuck, other than the motion lamps. He shrugs, heads back to his tent, and goes to sleep. Day 5 through 12. Next day. Kelly doesn't join them for breakfast and eats with her survey team instead. Don't get to ask what she wanted. Dave feels weird all day and notices that his work team is really jumpy. One of Dave's workmates insists he saw a bear while they were in the field, and they decided that's why everyone is on edge. Some kind of primordial instinct can sense the predator lurking or some shit. Night rolls around again, and Dave and Junior are about to sleep when the tapping comes again. It's really dark. I can't see you. Come out. Kelly's voice again. Junior tells her, Just a second, I'll turn on the lamp. They open the tent. No Kelly. Her tent isn't lit up. Footprints aren't clear because there's been no fresh snow all day. Fuck it. They go and tap on Kelly's tent. Light turns on and she chews them out for waking her up again. Again? Dave apologizes and drags Junior back to their tent. Dave tells Junior about the bear one guy saw at this point. Junior makes jokes about skinwalkers on the mountain, and they both go to sleep feeling a bit on edge. Day 6. Next morning, everyone in camp seems a bit out of it. People talking about the stupid pranks everyone else is pulling, and no one is getting enough sleep. Bearsider mentions Dave tapping on his tent. Dave mentions Kelly. 2 other guys both mention someone else entirely. Almost everyone reports some kind of mysterious nighttime visitor that wasn't there. They're starting to get a bit paranoid, and the supervisor tells them to knock it off with the pranks. There's work to be done. The pranks continued for the rest of the trip, but no one was hurt, turned up acting weird, or went missing. People were just jittery and ready to get the fuck out of the camp by the end of it all. Story 2. Summer internship time. Sweet. Free days, so Dave and Mo, international student on his first time. Go hiking. Pack lunch, Dave's gun, and bear mace. Head out into woods. Beautiful scenery, fantastic views. They go do their thing, and Dave is snapping photos to send to his girlfriend back home. Suddenly, Dave notices Mo isn't beside him anymore. They're at the top of the ridge, looking into a particularly picturesque valley. Lots of dense trees, not a lot of visibility. Dave doesn't panic, figures Mo had to shit and stepped out of view. Starts calling Mo's name. No answer, just echoes. Oh. Dave doesn't leave the ridge, but starts looking around for any signs of this guy. Nothing in sight, so he keeps calling the guy's name. Eventually, he hears 3 blasts from the safety whistle. Oh. Dave starts to backtrack the way they came, figuring that Mo turned around before him and got lost / went off the trail. Another 3 blasts, this time louder. Dave keeps following the sound, but there's no Mo. By now, Dave thinks something fucked up is going on, and gets out the bear mace just in case. Apparently, he contemplated his handgun, but didn't go for it. He stops and waits to see if he hears any more whistles. Sure enough, 3 blasts, practically on top of him. Dave almost jumps out of his skin. Mo comes running down the hill, out of nowhere, and slams into him. Dave is pissed, almost bear maces Mo in the face, demands to know where he went. Mo is equally pissed, and demands to know why Dave left them standing on the ridge all alone. They confer, and it comes to light that neither of them blew their safety whistle, though they both heard it. Both thought that they had wandered off the ridge and was calling for help. No more whistleblowing follows. No one else from camp was going hiking. Camp is isolated from normal camping areas or parks. Dave and Mo nope the fuck back to camp as fast as they can go, even though they plan out to be several more hours. Story 3. Same summer internship as story above. Hiking with different intern, Joey. Everything's going good. They're looking for a place to chill out and have lunch. Find a little creek, blabbing away. Only a few feet across and super shallow. Being geology geeks, they start discussing whether this should be on the survey or not. Outside of target zone, but still possibly relevant because of water source, etc. After lunch, they pack up and start heading back the way they came towards the camp. They pack up and start to head back the way they came towards camp. Except, it's not the way back towards camp. It's almost like they found a loop or some shit. Keep ending up back at the creek. After about an hour of this, they decide to just follow the creek bed for a while to see if maybe they just turned down the wrong paths. Stop when they find a weird little cairn on an island in the middle of this narrow creek. Jolly geeks and rock hounds, so they notice the rocks don't match the area quite right. Pile of big chunks of limestone and huge green quartz at the base. Deer skull on the top of the pile, with its antlers crossed under it. Bleached from exposure, looks brittle and old. Dave says that they should go back the way they came before, because fuck that ritualistic looking horror movie shit. Joey agrees, but is weirded out mostly by the stones rather than the skull. No proper limestones deposited in the area apparently, and that kind of quartz is only in a specific part of the state. I wouldn't know, just repeating what Dave said here. They go back the way they came and finally get back on their trail properly. Dave tells me he thinks whatever built the pile of rocks and wanted them to see it before they left, like it was warning them to stay out of its territory or something. Dave and Joey went hiking another day with Mo, but couldn't find the creek or the cairn a second time. Dave was relieved because he didn't want to go back, but after their first hiking trip, Mo said he was curious. Story 4. Through stupid circumstances, Dave gets separated from his work crew in the field, middle of fucking nowhere on the mountain. Realizes he's lost. Fuck shit, damn it. Has a map and GPS, and all the safety gear he should have, but nothing is working quite right. E.g., compass is stuck and won't rotate to face magnetic north. GPS claims to have no signal. Phone likewise, no signal, and went from 80 charge to 5 in about 5 minutes. Fuck this shit. Fuck it to hell. Against better judgment, he decides to try and find his way back. Dave tries to backtrack, but can't seem to go in a straight line. He finally sits down and considers blasting the whistle to see if he can get attention from his group. Right as he's about to blow the whistle, a fuck-off huge raven drops from a tree onto a rock formation a little ways from him. Raven puffs up real big and flies a few trees off with that croaky, cawing noise they make. Dave's impression of the sound cannot be described with text, but it was hilarious. Stops and puffs up again, watching him. Dave says he doesn't know why, but he decided to follow the raven. They don't generally come anywhere near people this far out. Just garbage if they can get it. So this bird was acting funny. Raven keeps up the leading game, flying a few yards ahead at a time, while Dave follows. After 30 minutes, Dave starts to recognize the terrain. After 45 minutes, he's almost back to the survey site, and this raven is gone. Didn't fly away, just as appeared when he looked away from it for a minute to get his bearings. Most of the other stories he told me weren't supernatural at all, just a bit eerie. He and his work crew ran into a bear face to face during summer once, at a distance of maybe 10 yards. It just looked at them for a few minutes and went back to rooting around and doing its thing. They also had a pack of wolves show up and check out their perimeter fence another time. Nothing malicious, just curious, and probably had smelled food or the like. They didn't come back. He had a couple of other spooky stories that were pretty bland. Things like his team encountering a guy in the woods, where there were no habitations, and he wasn't carrying gear like a camper or hiker either. He looked a bit like a farmer who'd just strolled out of his field, instead of a dense tree line. There was also a guy who got attacked in a lake while everyone was fishing. They decided to take a break, so he went for a swim. Had a huge row of bite marks on his leg, but they couldn't say what it was that did that. Eventually, put it down to some kind of introduced garfish and called it good. Nobody went swimming for the rest of that trip though. Mind if I ask you where in Wyoming? I currently live there and would love some spooky adventures. I'll shoot him an email to ask, since he didn't really say at the time. I went through his Instagram just now to see where he took photos during the periods the stories are from. Most of his vacation photos, from before and after each period of internship, are in Idaho or the northwest portion of the state, so I'd assume his service trips were probably relatively close to the area as well. He got back to me and was a bit vague about Wyoming. He mentioned Cody, but otherwise was all over the state. He's also done more trips than I thought. He's up to 9 and maybe going again this year. He said he's also done trips to Montana and Idaho for survey stuff, and mentioned Elkhorn, Big Hole River, Idaho, and Tobacco Root Range, Montana. He also sent me a photo of all the tents left behind by students on these trips, set up in his yard. He now has a total of 9, plus the one he bought originally for himself years ago.